Viewer discretion is advised.
Did your father have sexual contact with you?
Yes.
And how did it start?
Dead in Hollywood.
Beverly Hills emergency.
Yes, please.
What's the problem? What's the problem?
Someone killed my parents.
What? Who? Are they still there?
Yes.
The people...
No.
Were they shot?
Yes.
They were shot?
Yes.
Is the person still there?
What happened? We have units around. What happened? Who shot who?
I don't hear anything.
You came home and found who shot?
My mom and my dad.
Your mom and dad?
My mom and my dad.
Okay, we're on our way over there with an ambulance.
Okay, I gotta go.
On August 20th, 1989, brothers Eric and Lyle Menendez murdered their parents in the TV room in this Beverly Hills mansion.
People in this quiet, exclusive neighborhood remained surprised at the murders.
It said Beverly Hills, and I thought it was somewhere else, you
Why?
know?
What'd you think that?
Well, I didn't think it would be here, right where I come to work at.
After what happened here last night, some of the neighbors are worried and afraid.
We don't know if this is an isolated incident.
The crime shocked America, a prelude of sorts to the OJ Simpson saga that would happen only a few short years later. The Menendez murder case has been re-examined over the years, with a new generation supporting the brothers who sit in prison for life without the possibility of parole.
I was going to spend the rest of my life in prison without any possibility of ever getting released. You're devastated. I was devastated.
But the question remains, did the brothers murder their parents out of self-defense after years of unspeakable abuse? Or were the brothers just rich Beverly Hills kids who committed parricide trying to get at their parents' fortune? This is Dead in Hollywood, the Menendez Brothers. Let's go behind the sign.
At about 11:47 p.m. on Sunday evening, the 20th, we received an emergency call on our 911 lines. It was a hysterical male reporting that there had been a shooting at his residence, at the residence at 722 North Elm. Our officers responded in approximately 1 minute. And when they did arrive, they did in fact confirm that there had been an apparent shooting, and there were two people inside the location that appeared to be deceased, and they were in fact deceased.
Lyle Menendez was born on January 10, 1968 in New York to Jose and Kitty Menendez. Jose Menendez escaped communist Cuba at the start of the Cuban Revolution when he was 16.
This was the scene of turmoil in the capital, Havana, as the climax of revolution was reached.
To say that Jose was ambitious would be an understatement, and he had the smarts to back up his ambition. At Southern Illinois University, Jose met former beauty queen Mary Louise Kitty Anderson. The couple married in 1963.
About your mother, from your standpoint as a child.
The way she smiled.
She had a nice smile?
Yeah. She would compare me to Lyle. Like, I did a lot of things for her. I like doing things for her. I would vacuum the floor, I would do the dishes, and she would say these things to me. She just seemed to care more about me than Lyle. I knew that she didn't like Lyle.
2 years after Lyle's birth, Kitty gave birth to a son named Eric.
Are you related to Eric Galen Menendez, who's seated here?
He's my brother.
Being 2 years apart, the brothers were bonded from a very young age. Early on, they really only had each other. The Menendez family moved to Hopewell Township, New Jersey. Eventually, the brothers attended the prestigious Princeton Day School.
PDS was a lot tougher school, and I didn't like it so much because so much pressure was put on by Mom to get the grades.
Jose prided himself on raising great sons who would carry out his plan for the future. The brothers, on the other hand, would eventually carry out an entirely different plan on their father.
Menendez is chairman of the board, president, and chief executive officer of Live.
Jose was just 35 when he became executive vice president at Hertz, a subsidiary of Radio Corporation of America, more commonly known as RCA. In 1980, Jose became head of the company's record division. He was earning $500,000 a year and signing famous groups like the Eurythmics, Duran Duran, and the Latin boy band Menudo. You may want to remember the names Edargo Diaz and Roy Rosolo.
Eight days after the murder, there was a memorial service at the Princeton University Chapel. The most poignant moment was when Lyle read a letter from his father. It said, "I believe that both you and Eric can make a difference. I believe that you will. I encourage you not to select the easy road. I urge you to walk with honor regardless of the consequences, and to challenge yourself to excellence."
Jose had rules for everything: what the brothers could eat, how they spent their time, and what they read and even thought about. In Jose's eyes, every hour of every day had to be accounted for. Jose even got the boys into swimming. He himself trained to be an Olympic swimmer.
He was rough with the swimming. Sometimes he would just yank me out of the water by my hair, and he would shake you, and he took it very, very seriously, him holding me under the water, how long I could take it. And I would fight him to get air, and then he would give me air. And we would keep doing that, and I would be able to do it less and less time. I would just push away from him or pinch him or hit him underwater. My dad was unaffected by all that, so it didn't. That's what he wanted me to do. He wanted me to fight to get air so that
Jose stood up, grabbed him, and just looked at him, and right in the eyes, and said something to him that I couldn't hear. And Lyle became incontinent.
Many people within the inner circle of the Menendez family agreed that Jose was a controlling bully who often berated his sons for not living up to his high expectations.
Arrogantly teasing way, but he'd be humiliating and belittling to the point of being cruel.
What was it like at the dinner table?
An intellectual drill.
And who would be being drilled?
Generally, Lyle. Eric would try to answer, but Eric had a hard time keeping up.
From an early age, the brothers were under intense pressure.
incredible stomach aches, I think from nerves, where I would be nauseous and I would vomit.
Jose had quite the temper, and like their father, so did the brothers. Neither boys fit in at school, where they were considered mysterious loners. It's not surprising now, knowing what we know. Lyle and Eric had difficulty concentrating, and their grades were average.
Would you tell us what significance the closet had with respect to your mother and to schoolwork?
That's where I did a lot of my schoolwork when I didn't do it well. No, she put me there when she felt that I wasn't concentrating hard enough, or pushing me and putting me in closets and forcing me to do better because she was afraid of what Dad was going to do to her.
Teachers noticed that the brothers were immature compared to their classmates. At 14, Lyle still wet his bed and played with his stuffed animals.
When he was 14, he was still involved with the stuffed animals.
Yes, no, he had at least a dozen or more. He animated his animals, especially Cookie Monster. Cookie Monster would threaten more towards Eric.
Early on, the warning signs were there and no one seemed to care. No one took a closer look at this American family. If a teacher or a coach had, they would have discovered the depravity lurking just below the surface. Jose was not only grooming Lyle to follow in his footsteps, but he was also sexually abusing his eldest son.
Were there pornographic films that were made available to you and your brother?
Yes, we would just watch them together.
With your dad? What types of things would be portrayed in these films?
Sexual violence, gang rapes. There was another different film, 3 females attacking another female in a men's locker room with 3 guys and another guy. It was like a film within a film that he would take place in a red room, that the killings and the sexual violence in the red room is real, and that's why the films are so good. He showed them to the neighbors. It really wasn't very bothered by him, and we would watch them together.
Pixote, Pixote.
And you remember that you were shown this film in their home?
Yes, I was.
Jose also had boxes of gay porn magazines throughout the house.
Do you recall a day when you were working at the Menendez home when you came across some printed material.
It was males. It was pornography.
Did it show males doing things with other males?
Yes.
What, without getting graphic, what kinds of things?
Having sex.
Okay. Were all the magazines that you observed in the box of that same sexual nature?
Yes, because I kind of went through a few of them.
Jose took graphic photos of his sons.
He would take photographs of your genital area, in the lower half of your body, you bending over, or just different parts of your...
Things escalated from there when Jose started abusing Lyle.
And between the ages of 6 and 8, did your father have sexual contact with you?
Yes.
And how did it start?
Just started with, after sports practices, he would massage me and fondle me, and he would ask me to do the same with him, and I would touch him, and we would undress.
How often would this happen?
2 or 3 times a week. He would put me on my knees, and he would guide me, all my movements, and I would have oral sex with him.
Did you want to do this? At some point, did he do some other things to you?
Yes.
What else did he do to you?
Jose sometimes used objects to inflict pain on his son.
He used a toothbrush and some sort of shaving utensil brush.
And what would he do with the toothbrush?
Well, in the bedroom, we'd have what we called object sessions. And
Lyle tried to get help. At 6 years old, he went to Kitty and told her that Jose was touching him inappropriately.
I told her to tell Dad to leave me alone. And he keeps touching me. She told me to stop it, and that I was exaggerating, and that my dad has to punish me when I do things wrong.
In the early stages of Jose Menendez's seduction of his son, which our experts will tell you is a classic pattern among incestuous males, he told the child that this was their special secret, to be shared with no one.
Years before murdering his parents, Lyle confided in his friend Donovan Goodrow about his father's sexual abuse after Donovan revealed that his father had sexually abused him.
So basically he said that his father had been abusing her. Yeah.
When Lyle was 8 years old, he told his cousin Diane about his father's sexual abuse.
He proceeded to indicate to me by touching himself down and saying that his dad and him had been touching each other down there. I went and got Kitty and brought her downstairs and told her what was going on. She didn't believe me, and she took Lyle and brought him back upstairs.
And did you ever discuss the incident with Lyle anymore?
No, it wasn't ever discussed after that.
6 years after confiding in his cousin, Lyle and Eric, who were 12 and 15 at the time, attacked Diane without warning.
Before I knew it, they were tying me up, and they got me down to my bra.
15 past the hour, a young man accused of killing his parents, one of 2, is accusing them of sexual abuse. Lyle Menendez and his brother are charged with murdering their parents at their Beverly Hills mansion. Yesterday, Menendez said his mother taunted him sexually and often took him to bed with her.
You slept in bed with your mom a lot, didn't you, even when you were little?
Yes.
Did you touch your mom?
Yes.
Did she touch your back?
She kissed me, but she didn't touch me.
It's no wonder Lyle was so screwed up. But it wasn't only his cousin Diane who Lyle took out his sexual aggression on.
Did you do something to your brother?
Yes. I took him out to the woods whenever I felt, I don't know, I took him out sometimes, and I took a toothbrush also, and I played with Eric in the same way. And I'm sorry.
Jose stopped sexually abusing Lyle when he was 8.
When you were about 13, did you think that it might be happening to someone else?
Yes.
And who did you think it was happening to?
Eric.
Eric wouldn't truly reveal the extent of his abuse to his brother until August 15th, 1989, 5 days before the brothers killed their parents.
Between the ages of 6 and 18, my client, Eric Menendez, was sexually molested by his father.
Some 34 years later, an unlikely ally would come forward, backing up the brothers' claims of abuse. But there's so much more to the story before we even get to that.
I'm just a normal kid.
Oh, Eric, you're a normal kid who killed your parents.
You know, we did make a bad decision.
Not many Hollywood murder mysteries ever took a more dramatic turn than police are describing in a couple of savage Beverly Hills killings. The victims were a man and his wife.
The Menendez family chartered a boat from Marina del Rey and went shark fishing.
Jose Menendez carried out affairs.
You want that? That's what you get today.
There was blood everywhere. Twilight Zone, Menendez.
The Menendez brothers will be free before I am.
I was so young when I got this.
I mean, I can't believe no one saw anything or heard the, gunshots going off.
I've been in this business for over 33 years, and I've heard of very few murders that were more savage than this one was.
You're not going to believe this. Lyle Menendez has responded to my message.
We think 1989 will be a tremendous year.